underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 185. I am your host / member. I don't like call myself the host.
You are the host.
We've talked about this before. We're all hosts. We're all co-hosts. I don't like the idea that somebody on this show doesn't think that. So what can we? I'm one of your hosts. There it is.
That's usually how I introduce Unlocked.
Fuck off.
Oh, okay.
That's how you're gonna start an interview Unlocked. You never mentioned that podcast on this. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 185. I'm one of your hosts, alongside the rough cardiologist Ryan Clements.
Hello.
He only does everything. Colin Moriarty.
Beyond.
And the ghost of the PlayStation Network. Go into your bathroom and turn off all the lights and say bloody PSN 3 times, and it shall appear.
I am the ghost of Amadeus Arkham.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did a Podcast Beyond snippet earlier this week. We left out a very important thing. Ryan, what happened to you on the train today?
Oh my goodness. Well,
It's been a rough week on everybody. We're at our wits' end. We're all afraid. God only knows how many trophies I have, how far Colin is ahead of me, or behind me, I should say.
Goodness. All right. Well, let's just put it like this. One of my friends who I originally met in an IGN meet and greet.
Yeah.
All right. One of our very first.
Stefan, I believe.
I won't say his name here because I don't know if he wants to be talked about.
I just did. So Stefan.
Okay. So Stefan. So that's
Urkel's alter ego.
Yeah, his alter ego, the cooler one of the two. So Stefan and I are on. We get on the train to come in because he lives further down into the city than I do. So we're both on the train, and he actually has an interview here at the IGN Corporation. I won't tell you what position. But
VP, he's taking over Roy's job.
just the entire.
No, he's combining Roy and Pear's roles into one job.
Right, and he's just going to take over the company. Yep. But we're just talking on the train now. Maybe we were talking loudlier. Maybe we were talking
a little louder
than we should have.
I like loudlier.
But honestly, it was a fairly, it was a pretty normal conversation level for the train. I think, even if it was loud, we're on a friggin' train.
Yeah.
And for those that don't live in San Francisco, the above ground trains, the Muni lines, they're not exactly the quietest vehicles around.
Not as bad as BART though.
No, my goodness, BART is like the howling banshee, man. Terrible. Anyway, so we're on this train, and all of a sudden I get tapped on the shoulder, and it's this dude. And he's like, he looks at me, he's like, dude, I don't mean to be rude, but it's 8 in the morning. It wasn't, it was 9 in the morning. I'm trying to listen to my music, and all I can hear is this kid screaming at me, come on.
Are you both seated at this? Are y'all?
No, we're both.
Seated?
Everyone is standing.
Everyone's standing. Okay.
We're kind of we're kind
facing
of
in at each other, face to face.
Yeah. So
you and Stefan.
Yeah, me and Stefan. So I turn to him and I'm like, the first thing I'm like is just chill, dude. It's all good. We can talk a little quieter, but this is public transportation.
Yeah.
And he was just like, exactly, it's public transportation. He looks around and kind of gestures his arms that's proving a point. And I was like, just take it easy. And then I went back to talking to Stefan for the rest of the trip. But that has really put me – I don't like when these sorts of things happen because I don't like conflict in general.
Yeah.
Especially conflict with a random stranger that to me it's just a very inappropriate thing. Like if maybe we were actually yelling or maybe saying something offensive or yelling obnoxious shit, you know. But we weren't. We were actually talking about video games and we just were probably talking, loudly.
To be heard over the train.
Yeah, to be heard over the train.
See, out of all the horrible things I've heard and seen on Munis, it cracks me up. That's what stops. Because I love the people who put their cell phone on blast to listen to music. Don't have headphones. They just sit there and bop.
Yeah, they do that.
I mean, the homeless people screaming, dragging trash bags full of
cans,
bottles and cans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have
this
crazy
is the fight
people.
Someone wanted to pick, though.
We have people that just kind of lie down on the floor and then potentially shit their pants and then they have to stop the entire train and kick everyone off. I mean, that's all fine. But when we're talking loud about video games on the train, that's the line in the sand.
Let's start the show off with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some bad news.
Oh, no.
Starting it off, this is again from Colin Moriarty, former Guys Guru. Now he only does everything. So the opinions forthwith might not reflect that all podcast. Number 1, the PlayStation Network is still dead. The PSN has been down since April 20th. After 6 days of the outage and barely any word from Sony on what was going on, Sony revealed that everyone's personal information had been compromised, including the possibility of credit card information being leaked. No services are currently available through PSN, though some gamers are able to access Netflix.
Greg and I haven't been.
The rumor is that some accessibility will be available as soon as this coming Tuesday, when full functionality. You've got some words here. When the full functionality we've come to expect from the PSN will be restored is unknown.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sometimes I don't know if it's you reading or if it's my writing.
Most of the time it's me reading.
Okay.
But then there was a the, and I tried to get ahead of myself.
Yeah, no, I got you. Because honestly I don't read that after I write it.
I don't read it before I read it. So there you go.
I proofread everything.
Shut up. All right, Clements, me and Colin did a special segment, 20 minutes the other day about all this. We haven't heard from you yet. Talk me through what's going on with you in the PSN.
Well, I'm kind of two different mindsets, because on my knee-jerk reaction, and I think very rightly so, is to be really upset. And I was really and yeah, I mean this is terrible. It's not only bad that it's been down for so long, but pushing that aside, I get very uncomfortable when we're dealing with information leaks. Especially kind of being in more of a public role in my job, and then suddenly having my information out there. It's it's upsetting, but that's fine. I mean, that sort of information can probably be accessed by someone that's looking hard enough for it, and I don't really care. But I also think that I think a reader wrote in saying Sony has doomed me. Now my house and car payments are and I understand that it can be upsetting, but I also don't think it's the end of the world, because Greg, as you and I have talked about, your credit card information can very easily be taken. This isn't probably the first time that you've been at risk. And you should always be vigilant.
Exactly. That's the whole thing we talked about as soon as it happened, right? I interviewed an identity theft expert, and he was saying any credit card you have, consider it breached. You should always consider it breached, because you're reading it on the phone to somebody that you're giving to a cab driver who's scanning it, and then it's just sitting around. Your information's out there. Maybe it hasn't been accessed. It's the same here, right? 77 or whatever million PSN accounts have been lost. And granted, we still don't know. It's come out lately since then about the encryption. Since we last spoke about all this, even if they did get the credit cards, which is still unknown, there's no evidence, Sony says, but they can't be sure. Even if they got that information is encrypted, and the security code from the back of your card has never been entered on the PSN. So it's not, even if they have it, they don't have everything, but they do have your address and email and phone number. And what you have to be worried about are the phishing schemes of them coming to you saying, hey, we're Bank of America, and we just wanted to make sure you have the right card. So give us that number and this, and let us verify it all against your address, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So there's the concern. And so, yeah, the sky isn't falling, but it is really terrifying. And the interesting thing now is you see, I know we've gotten a lot of tweets lately from kids saying, oh man, my card's I've seen weird charges on my thing. Everybody needs to be alert. Everybody needs to be alert, but for a million different reasons, not just because of PSN. There was a kid on my IGN yesterday, I was reading a blog, who put up a blog, $100 has been charged by Amex. This is not normal. I'm going to figure out, I think this is PSN. And then he put a new blog up and said, actually it wasn't that. It was something different, but it's still pays to be proactive and to be watching this. And you need to be checking your stuff at least
check your
once
statements.
A week. Yeah, once a week is
check
what
your statements, especially before you're about to pay a statement.
Yeah.
Because I think I read something like if you debate something with your credit card company within 30 to 60 days.
60 days is what I was told.
Yeah, it's usually not a problem, and you can get that stuff squared away.
Yeah.
Also, I feel compelled to give a plug to one of the credit cards that I use, which is American Express. I love that company. I have only had fantastic customer service through that company, and that was the card that I had associated with the PSN account.
Yeah.
And I asked for a replacement on one day, and then the following day I received another full, everything was taken care of.
That's cool.
I didn't even have to change anything online. My numbers were all switched up. Everything's been all nice and secured again. And yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing how fast it was. And next day aired that shit.
Cool.
Colin, how are you feeling now? A week into the outage, a week plus now, I guess.
I don't know. I'm kind of bummed out about it. I mean, there's a multifaceted issue. You know? It's so I had the inconvenience of it is really bothering me because, for instance, so we didn't know what the deal with our credit card information was. I nixed my debit card number and got a new one sent to me,
which was smart.
And so I had to go to the bank the next day and pick up a replacement card. But then I woke up this morning and I'm like, man, this kind of sucks because now like my student loans are associated with that old number. I have to essentially for auto debit go around and take care of all this business. And then I got an email from Netflix today saying, like, we can't, like, your information doesn't jive with what we have, and like we can't charge you. And I had to call them and be like, PlayStation's down, and they were like, we see that, and they're
PlayStation's down,
and
bro.
they're like, no, we've gotten a lot of calls about this. We see that you only stream through your PlayStation, so we're gonna freeze your account and we won't charge you for anything. And then when your account comes back up, just like give us your new number, and then we'll like.
All right, that's cool.
But it's a myriad of inconveniences. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's like what really bothers me. And the other thing that really bothers me, obviously we already ran into the ground and talked about how, we're not mad about Sony getting hacked per se. We're mad about their PR.
Which people still miss.
Yeah, and like people are still missing that. Like whatever. I can't talk about that anymore. It's like if you don't understand why that was like a massive blunder, the biggest blunder in PlayStation history, period. Even worse than the $600 price point of the PlayStation.
The majority of Beyond emails coming in for this Thursday's show were very positive. Thank you for the tips. Thank you for, I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from. There were a couple of people saying, I'm not upset with Sony for not telling us right away because they didn't know exactly what had happened. I'm still of the mindset that as soon as you call in a private security, as soon as you know something has happened, you put out an email saying, hey guys, there's been an external intrusion, or we don't know exactly what has happened yet. We're going to get back to you. We're going to let you know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It should have been the first step.
And I understand not wanting to panic people, but the problem is that then they have this whole thing that spiraled out of control, right? It's on CNN. It's on Fox News. It's everywhere. And they look like jackasses because they didn't tell anybody except people on their blog. So then enthusiast press like us pick that up.
Right.
But the normal casual person, like Christine Steimer is my roommate. She had to walk her parents through last night. No, you do have a PlayStation account. No, I know you don't have a credit card attached. Like, they didn't understand that they were at risk just because they watched Netflix on it.
Right.
Which means they did make a PlayStation Network account, which, even though it doesn't have a credit card on it, means that somebody out there has one of their emails and one of their passwords. And they could go to different sites and randomly plug them in and try to figure things out.
Dude, it's a big deal. Like, I'm really starting to wonder, like, all right, so people are like, you guys have to, defend Sony and this and that. It's like, dude, like we're an unofficial podcast. We don't work for Sony. I'm not about to carry water for that company if they fucked up. They did fuck up. If you don't understand how they fucked up, then I don't know. You're delirious because it's like I don't get it. I don't get that. I think about it in terms of this. If you don't think that this is a big deal in terms of the PR and the way it was handled and the fact that your information was leaked, no matter what the information was, you're either A, really young, which is fine. You don't understand the ramifications of something like that. I certainly didn't when I was young. B, like you are like such a rampant fanboy of Sony that you will defend them from anything they did, and that is not my style. I don't do that shit. You
defend me like that though.
Yeah, I defend Greg like that. I got Greg's back to the very last.
You got me off a murder charge.
I did. It was a bad rap. And or C, it's like you really like just don't understand like that's a serious thing. You're like these are like your name and your address and all of these things, but can be put together to create like you said, a really compelling phishing scheme, or can be used as information to like if you call a bank and you're like, oh, we need this information. Well, you have all this information now, so maybe you can convince someone, a broker, or an agent at one of these companies that you're really that person, or whatever. It's a big deal. It's
totally.
a lot of.
That's all you need, right? There's like if you remember back in the day. Dan Shue published an article, and I think it happened to Will Tuttle too, right? Where they had bits and pieces of their info about Xbox Live, and they called Microsoft on different days and would say, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was just making sure you had the right address for me on file. What is that again?" And they like, you know what I mean? Like they were just giving out this information that they used to piece together the profile to change the password and get in and use that thing. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Bad news bears.
I just wish people would mind their own fucking business.
Well, that'll never happen. Number 2. Due to the PSN outage, Sucker Punch has promised an extension of the infamous 2 beta. When it will be extended and for how long remains to be seen. But at least Sucker Punch is listening to the consumers, unlike some other companies, says Colin Moriarty.
Yeah, it's crazy that Sucker Punch had like a tweet up like immediately being like, we're listening to you, we understand, we're going to do our best to extend this. And Sony's like, oh.
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I know what you mean though. The problem is that this whole thing they played their cards totally close to the chest.
And now it's too little, too late.
The first day it goes down, or they put it down. Oh, it's down for maintenance. It'll be up in a day or two. Don't sweat it. And then the next day, like over the weekend, finally, after Colin posts a thing going, "What the hell's going on?"
Like, yeah, I'd like to think I'm kind of responsible for that blog post.
There's been an external intrusion. Don't panic. Then this week, all right, everything's been leaked.
I would like to say that
Everybody panicked.
There's a giant panic button.
I would like to say that I think like us posting stories like that and other people holding Sony to the fire did help to get a more instant response from them, and that's like what, you know, we're consumers and we deserve that. So I'm really proud of I'm totally proud of whatever role we played in trying to get the information disseminated to as many people as possible that they needed to know. I'm totally proud of that. So
More developments. Number 3 on the list here. A class action lawsuit has been filed on behalf of consumers. The Rothen law firm of California filed the lawsuit in part because it alleges Sony, quote, failed to take responsible care to protect, encrypt, and secure private and sensitive data, end quote. The full PDF of the lawsuit is available on IGN. Interesting, because we're talking about credit cards encrypted. Your password, your email, your address, your birth date, your security questions, not encrypted.
yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said in the last podcast.
That seems kind of silly, right?
That's what I said in the last podcast. Like they went in and they were like, "Oh, this is your address. This is your name. This is your your password." It's like, really? That's just there for everyone to find as it is, like as it appears on my screen, it appears in your servers. It's pretty interesting.
I will not. I mean, here's the fact of the matter. I'm never going to put any personal information in their platform again. I mean, that's just how it is.
This is interesting. This is what we were talking about a little bit on the last time, but now we can expand on it. I'm really interested to see going forward what this means for PlayStation Network sales, what it means for registered subscribers, what it means for the NGP, a system pretty much entirely based on PSN.
No, I'm certainly not putting a credit card on that sucker.
Yeah. A lot of people wrote in to remind us now that when you buy a PSN card off Amazon, they don't ship it to you. They email you the code right away. So that I think a lot of people are going to start.
Well, that's what I was doing right as soon after. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my credit card off PSN. Remember that business? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's too late because they probably kept that information on file anyway. But.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea to go to Amazon and buy cards from now on. Amazon hasn't, in their very long and storied history, has never proven that the information you give them is not in good hands or whatever. And I'm not going to trust Sony with that stuff either. I'm going to figure out every way possible to not put my information in my PlayStation.
I wonder if there's a way that I can not have my address in there anymore.
You can make one up. The whole reason you have the address in there, right, is for like when you enter a contest or win something or yada yada, and also just to prove who you are.
Or I could just probably put the office address in there.
Yeah. I mean, now you just kind of outed that on the air to 1.5 million listeners.
Well, they don't know what address I'm going to put in there. I might make something.
You just said the office address.
By the way, don't we have a new listener, Greg? One of the Sony executives in Japan.
Yeah, the president of the Worldwide Studios listens to the podcast Beyond. We discovered on Twitter.
That's awesome.
He's going to come sit in with us one day. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. When he comes on.
Also, would you like me to edit that part out? I don't think.
No, I just like giving you a hard time. This is like the old episode of Home Improvement when Tim Allen installed the Binford system and he gave away the code on the show they were doing live. And then Al's like, maybe you should change it to something not all of our viewers know. It was adorable.
I love Home Improvement.
I hated his wife Jill.
Jill?
Hated Jill. God,
really?
What a nagging, horribly voiced woman.
Patricia Richardson.
Yeah, she's good in other stuff.
She was in the West Wing. She was pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen her other stuff. I just did not like the character of Jill. I always prayed for a meteorite. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, I'm done now. Meteorite. Okay. Smashed through the house, kill her. Maybe Brad, too. I did not like Brad. And I didn't like the little kid when he got all goth.
Oh, yeah. He was like goth. He would paint his nails and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember they made a joke about how they were playing this song where all the lyrics were yeah.
Yeah, they had a band.
And then they were like, hey, what's the name of that song? And just like, The Happy Clown. But anyway, I would just like to say that Home Improvement is a very important memory for Colin and I. That was one of our first bonding experiences.
Yeah, we used to watch it in the lunchroom.
During lunch, him and I would turn on Home Improvement and eat lunch.
And laugh.
We would laugh hysterically, and I still remember when there was him like throwing himself out the window.
that show really is funny. Tim Allen's awesome.
Yeah, it had some great physical comedy in that show, for sure.
Maybe we can get Tim Allen on here, too.
Yeah, let's get Tim Allen. If any of your if you're listening,
yeah, I'm sure he is.
Write us beyond@ign.com.
All right, good. Number 4. After a fierce competition between a representative of each NFL team, the player who will grace the cover of Madden 2012 has been revealed. It's running back Peyton Hillis of the Cleveland Browns, who had a breakout season last year, rushing for nearly 1,200 yards, receiving for nearly 500 more, and scoring 13 touchdowns. That flub was me, not you, Colin. Okay. Over 1 million people voted in the final round, which pitted Hillis against Michael Vick. Hillis won with 66% of the vote. Greg Miller would like to add a thing here of bullshit.
Oh yeah, because Michael Vick was.
Michael Vick won that. I guarantee EA went in full with the numbers. And I say guarantee, meaning that I have no idea if they really did. This is Greg as a fan saying there's no way I believe Hillis beat Vick.
Yeah, and I'm the Michael Vick thing. It's like he did his time and he's repentant, and I'm not gonna like let that dude.
Time out real quick.
Yeah.
Garrett wrote in and said. Garrett wrote into Beyond at IGN.com and said Beyond. What do you guys think of Cleveland Browns Peyton Hillis being the next Madden athlete? Sorry, I want to make sure he knew his question was.
Okay, yeah, no, Peyton. I like Peyton Hillis. He did have a breakout season last year. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And the Browns obviously were a very mediocre team. But maybe they'll be better this year.
Yeah.
They did have Mangini, an ex-Jets coach, last year, and he couldn't make it work. And he had them for 2 years, I guess. But I don't know. It's like the thing with Michael Vick. It's like you're probably right. Michael Vick's becoming popular again, and I don't know. I think some people are a little torn about that, considering what he did.
Yeah.
But the man did go to prison, and the NFL did deem him accessible or allowed to be back in the NFL. And he's a great player. He's an awesome left-handed quarterback, a mobile quarterback, and I actually really like him.
When he first came back,
like,
I was totally in the camp of this is crazy. He should not be in here. Is
that the dog fighting dude?
Yeah. I'm like this. There's no way. And somebody's like, if you are of that mindset, why do we have a prison system? You know what I mean? Like, you go there to pay your debt to society. He was convicted. He went and did it, and he did. And so I flip flop. Now I'm like, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he's supposed to do. He went to prison, served his time, came out, yada yada yada. And he didn't do the Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton thing where they spend a day in jail and they got sentenced to 90 and somehow they get out in 1 and it doesn't make
right. And that was jail. He was in prison.
Yeah. And so I think it's an interesting thing of role models and being in the spotlight because it's one of those things where you make a gajillion dollars and you are set for life and you have these mansions and you're still making dogfights. It's just like it's the dumbest thing you could do.
No, it was totally an error in judgment and obviously a really heinous thing. But like you said, the man did his time. He's becoming a very respected. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Any team in the league, with rare exception, would take him. Yeah. And I would love for him to be on the Jets personally.
Put him on the Bears.
Yeah. The Bears are desperate for quarterback.
Yeah. We've only been there like 25 years though, so it's no big deal.
And it's like I agree. It's like you've done the time. He's like donating his time and money to like a lot of these charities and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's obviously I'm kind of in agreement with you as far as I think that the numbers probably were cooked a little bit because I don't see how Peyton Hillis is definitely like a dark horse and like definitely a cult icon.
I think for most people, right? Yeah, like who the hell is he? Like, I don't mean that. That's a broad stroke, but I don't know.
At least it wasn't the 12th man from Seattle because that would have been the stupidest cover of Madden ever.
I would have loved that. Just all these fans. Ryan has no idea what we're talking about. We'll move on
I
now.
have no clue. All I knew was the dog fighting business, which I'm very upset about.
Still, even though he paid his debt to society.
I don't know. I don't really know the whole story, so I'm not sure.
He went to prison.
Right.
He served his time.
Oh, I heard that part. I could follow that. And,
but you don't want to just give an opinion off the cuff. I understand.
Exactly.
I respect that.
Hey, also, just real quick, isn't it kind of like with Michael Vick, like I hate to say it in these terms, but isn't it kind of a feel-good story too in terms of his career? Because like when he was on the Falcons before he went to prison, he was a great quarterback. Everyone was like, this guy's awesome. And he was an all-pro and stuff. And then everything falls apart for him. The Falcons like cut ties with him. He goes to prison. He gets tried and goes to prison. Then he comes back, and then he gets on the Eagles. He's a backup. He plays a little bit. Then the next season, that guy Kevin Cobb or whatever is like the starting quarterback. He gets hurt. Yeah. Michael Vick comes in. He's awesome. The Eagles go to the playoffs. And it's kind of like a feel-good story, I think, for him because all the while he's donating his time and money, and he did serve his debt to society and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of a cool story.
I think in the end, like I think when his career is said and done, that's when it'll be a story. That's when there'll be a movie or people. Because right now you say, oh, he's donating his time and money. Well, yes, he's doing that because he's trying to get his name out of the gutter, and so there's that question of, and he does these interviews where he admits, oh yeah, I fucked up and blah blah.
He interviews really well too.
In the back of so many people's minds, it's like, does he really believe this? Is he really doing this because it's the right thing to do?
That's what I'm thinking
or is he doing it because I need to get out of the gutter and I want to be on covers and I want to have endorsements and.
I think this is something that I deal with personally. We're gonna get real emotional for a second.
Let's do it.
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Let me make sure we're still recording.
I look at you to make sure you know to look.
I've tried to come to terms with the fact that we as a race, we as individuals,
the human race,
certainly not talking about races in particular.
Us as Caucasians.
Yes, us as Caucasians. Us as a human race, we are very much imperfect.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite so. And I think that in a way I've tried to come to terms with the fact that that's what makes us interesting, and that's also what makes us really beautiful. But that's also the source of all of the evils that come, from us as humans and interacting with each other. And even like a little example like this morning, like what happens with this dude on a train, which even though I'd love to like say fuck you and kick him off into oncoming traffic and stuff not really.
That'd be awesome.
But for essentially being a dick to my poor friend who's trying to go, probably nervous about this interview and is trying to do his best this morning and stuff,
Yeah, poor stuff.
Even still, maybe that dude, like something terrible happened in his life recently and he's been on edge like all morning. You don't know, which is probably not the case. But and I think that's something that I think about all the time, is that I totally shouldn't look down on people that have made mistakes, because I've made plenty of mistakes too. Everybody has.
You had that snail fighting league for a long time.
I had it was a dark time in my life. The snails just slowly coming in on each other. Finish him off!
And then they both just hit into each other and retract into their shells. They just sit there.
My main concern with this whole thing is it's difficult to, unless you know someone very, very well, it's difficult to know if they're truly regretful of something that they've done.
Agreed.
But if he is, and how long was he in prison?
It wasn't like 3 years.
Yeah, something.
I mean, that's.
I thought we'd never hear from him again. I thought he would come out and play Canadian football. I really didn't think he'd come.
Yeah, he signed like some really small contract with the Eagles and like was obviously not making the money he was making. Yeah. Now he's going to make the money he was making or whatever. But yeah, it just, to me, it was just like it's kind of like. I don't want to say I feel bad for him because he did make a really bad judgment and he made a really bad mistake, and it's like a pretty heinous crime. I don't think animals deserve that kind of treatment, obviously, but
snails do.
Yeah, maybe snails do.
I had a pet snail for a long time, by the way. It was named Zippy.
Zippy. That was ironic.
I love that snail. It was so cute.
But I don't know, man. It's just what you were saying about the vote kind of resonated with me, because I kind of think the same thing happened, and it's like some people are just never going to forgive this dude, you know? And
exactly.
It's like, whatever, man. Like, even when the Eagles fans, I remember the Eagles fans were lukewarm to him. Now they all love him.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because obviously, his performance on the field is spectacular.
Speaks for itself, yeah.
But I'm interested to see. He kind of reminds me of Pete Rose in that, like, what will happen to him after the game is over? Because as everyone knows, Pete Rose is a great baseball player. His record in hits or whatever is like, insurmountable basically, and he's not being inducted into the Hall of Fame because of his gambling. And
isn't that a little bit different, because he lied for years about betting on games he was in. You know what I mean? Like, that was the big thing. That was his big thing about finally coming out too, right? Because they said, like, we're never going to let you in the Hall if you continue to deny it. So he admitted it, and he's still not in the Hall.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there's no way to deny what Vic did, but so that it's not apples and oranges kind of thing, I guess. I guess it just reminds me of like what's going to happen. Like, Pete Rose is an old man now, or is he even alive anymore? No, he's alive.
Oh, jeez.
But it's like,
I'll have he got inducted into WWE Hall of Fame, so I really don't think I don't think he has to worry too much more.
But it's like, what will happen to Michael Vick like in 20 years when he's on the ballot for Hall of Fame and stuff like that?
I think it'll be. I think you won't be able to. When you look back at his entire career, that'll be just the one. That'll be like the one dark spot, right? And then he hopefully, knock on wood for the poor guy.
He's got to win a Super Bowl too.
Yeah, exactly. He will though, don't you think? I think it's inevitable. He gets better and better. I remember when he started, right, and everybody's like, he's awesome. And then remember when he got hurt and he's out for an entire season, and then he came back, and that like. Watching him, like, I don't like watching games that aren't Bears usually, just because like I'm not really invested. Like, I'll go watch a Jets game with you. It's fun to be with somebody who's vested in it, that you can kind of be. But like just watching at home on my own, I hate watching just random football. But like that game, I remember watching. It was a Monday or Sunday night game where he came back, and like he was so much fun to watch, and it's still the same way.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
we should stop talking about football.
Yeah.
We've been going on.
Sorry, Ron.
No, that I actually get interested through proxy. Like
I know, but saying. Not every listener out there does.
Yeah,
we already talked about Muni for 15 minutes.
But that was a human rights story, man.
Rounding out the Roper Report, the ESRB has outed Chrono Trigger as an upcoming PlayStation 1 classic.
Just Chrono Trigger.
I believe it's Chrono, isn't
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. When it will be released on the PSN is still unknown, but it's coming. Yeah, a lot of things are unknown about when they're coming to the PSN now, aren't they? Lols.
These are the laws.
Colin.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to get the list. I know what came out, though.
He's got it.
if I wanted
Go
to buy.
for it.
I can't get anything off the network.
Yeah.
I can only trek to the GameStops, to the WalMarts, to the mom and pops. What games could I buy this week?
Hold on a second. Let me see if Colin will pick up on this joke real
Okay.
fast. All right.
What do you want in a sandwich?
Hey, Colin, do you think anyone can go on the PlayStation Network and buy something?
I know where you're going with this one.
I don't
doubt it.
That's how I wanted you to respond.
Because yeah, it's like
I mean, I don't know how it actually goes.
it's got to be a little quicker.
All
a little
right.
quicker. You know?
Like, for example, how would I have done it?
Well, it's got I like to use the Love Seat and Sectional because that's the one I know. So it's like
If you're just joining us, there's a long-running podcast Beyond Joke about I doubt it, New Jersey or something,
No,
East Coast furniture commercial.
yeah, it's a New England commercial.
Please go.
Maybe it's down in New York and New Jersey now. I don't
Please
know.
continue.
Okay, so you'd be like, can you get a better deal on a two? It's like you gotta do like the real Massachusetts accent, like the thick Eastern Massachusetts accent. You're like, can you get a better deal on a Love Seat and Sectional than this? I doubt it. but people that live up in Massachusetts have been telling me that they don't do that anymore or something, or it's like the guy got bought out, now it's a different company.
Dumb.
And I've even been going on YouTube and looking for commercials, and they have commercials from that guy, but they don't have the I doubt it commercials. And
I
the comments on
know.
every one are like, where are the I doubt it commercials with like 8 million thumbs up? Someone's got to have it on a tape somewhere.
I know, right?
Upload it to YouTube, for God's sake, so everyone can understand.
Go, Colin. Next time you go home, find your VHS, your 3 VHSs that have the Star Wars on them.
Yeah.
The one, New Hope.
A New Hope?
And and go check them. You'll find one.
Can you download Chrono Trigger on the PSN? I doubt it. Anyway, so many things. What came out this week? Well, Prince of Persia HD Collection came out this week.
There you go.
I think
An
so, yeah.
8.0 from Anthony Gallegos, I believe.
That's it, I think.
All right.
All right.
Nothing on PSP. Nothing on PS2.
That doesn't surprise me. Clements, what came digitally?
Well, let me tell you.
What can I get off PSN today? Outland should have been out this week.
Yeah, Outland was supposed to come out. It's on XBLA yesterday. My review should go up today. It is very, very good,
Okay,
and
good,
I'm really sorry that you can't play it yet on PlayStation
Hopefully
Nation.
soon.
Will you still play
Within
with me on
maybe a
PSN when
week.
it comes out?
Oh, of course. I'm going to play it again because I want the trophies.
In,
All right,
in a week, right? We'll
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, sure, maybe.
It is a really good game. And from people that don't know, it's from Housemarque. Those are the guys that did Super Stardust and
Nation.
Dead Nation, which are also two very good games. So it's no surprise.
Yeah.
All right, then let's just get to some reader mail.
Okay.
Get some more kids in here. Guess what they all want to talk about?
PSN?
Yeah, that's right.
Football?
Drew writes into beyond@ign.com, just like you can. Want to be part of the show? Beyond@ign.com. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
You're
do
sitting
it.
there right now, just laying on the couch, dog between your legs. Get up.
We have
Write an email.
we have a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
We do.
And well, I mean, we get plenty of email, but
Yeah,
we
too much
read them.
sometimes.
We read them.
Yeah.
And you can email us, and we'll read it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
With the this is Drew again. With the demise of the PSN, I started thinking of the next PlayStation. What will you guys do if your trophies don't roll over to the next system?
They
Well,
will. They will.
They have to, or else that could be the end of
They
trophies.
definitely
they
will. I'm
have
100.
to?
I'm 100% sure they will.
Do they have to?
Yeah. Well,
Are achievements going to roll over to Xbox 20 million?
I'm sure.
yeah, and I think that if they don't, that's probably the dumbest thing they could possibly do.
But is it because remember why I liked PlayStation so much was that
Starting
trophies
fresh.
Exactly. I could get into the ground floor and I could do it right away and I could be
So
competitive.
you want to start over, huh?
I don't. I mean,
You have all these shiny new games, and it's like, hey, guess what, Greg Miller? You're the same as Mabel over here. You're starting from scratch.
I'll be like,
And
maybe
Mabel's
watch
like,
this.
Look at how many platinums I can get.
What does Mabel play? Like Critter Crunch? I feel like she plays Critter Crunch.
I think she plays the Hannah Montana, the movie, the game.
Noby boy.
Noby
Noby
boy.
boy. Oh, jeez.
Noby boy.
I'm positive that you'll like. I
right.
I feel like that's a no-brainer. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like maybe they'll have a
It was a no-brainer for a credit card information to say
Yeah,
secure.
credit card information. Make a random number for your security. Yeah,
That's true.
these were both no-brainers.
Yeah, PS4 is gonna be cartridge-based and it won't have any online functionality.
It also runs on those little hamster wheels.
But maybe there'll be something like on the PlayStation 4 or whatever that like on your friends list it will call out maybe like what your name originates from or whatever if you're like there's like a PS3 icon on it or something to let people know.
That'd be
like,
cool.
And then that's why those people are so much lower level. But I with achievements, obviously, like achievements have already on PC and they were on that phone and they'll I'm sure be on the next Xbox. And our trophies are going to be on NGP, so I don't see why they wouldn't be.
All right, you're still missing the crux of the question here, though. It's not will they? It's what would you do if they weren't?
Oh, kill myself.
Oh my God.
Don't Joe.
I don't think I'd be. I mean, I don't think I would be crushed. I think I would like them to roll over in some way, shape, or form. But I wouldn't be like devastated. I don't think.
Oh, I would. Dude, we invested all that time just for that 3 or 4, or I guess like 4-year period.
Did you have fun?
I did, but it's
There
like,
you
and
go.
then it's just gone. No one goes on PlayStation 3 anymore. So it's just those trophies are gone. They're sitting on a server. No one's gonna access them. No one knows you have them.
You and I, when we decide we're done with the PlayStation 3,
Yeah.
we go to the tattoo parlor.
Yeah.
And we get it done on your arm.
Oh, like
the
the
trophies, our level, our cards,
Oh man,
and the number of platinum.
that would be
That's funny as hell.
pretty awesome.
That'd be really
Did
fun.
you see the kid that emailed us with a trophy, like has a platinum trophy
Yeah,
tattoo?
yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
when I say
hardcore.
awesome,
Cool
I
story,
mean,
bro.
whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All
Well,
right.
I just dropped it.
That's what you should have said to the guy on the train
my
today. Just
phone.
cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
Cool. Oh my god.
Fun!
I really should have ended with a cool story. Or no, like Damon's favorite. I should have been like, "You mad, bro?"
Jonathan writes into beyond@IGN.com and says, at the year's beginning, PlayStation was set to have a blockbuster year. There were so many exclusives, both third and first party, that were coming to PS3. We thought it was hitting its stride. Do you guys think that the PSN outage will ruin the year of the PlayStation?
Not ruin, but definitely hinder it for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
In a big way.
I definitely think it's knocked the wind out of its sails in a long way. I think, like we talked about it when we were talking about year of the PlayStation, right? That this was the year for PlayStation to turn naysayers into people who wanted to play their games, and like they can't catch a break. It's like, all right, Killzone comes out, doesn't get amazing reviews. SOCOM comes out, does not get amazing reviews.
And then the next day, the servers go down.
Servers go down the next day. MotorStorm gets delayed by a natural disaster nobody could predict, and now it's getting. We gave it an 8, or did we give it an 8.5?
I don't remember. I
I
don't
think we
even
gave
remember
it
that.
But that's still a great score.
Still a great
Yeah.
score,
Yeah.
right? But not what what I mean. Like you're not bringing in perfect 10s and 9s and yada 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 yada. And now you're looking down the barrel to Infamous and Uncharted and Twisted Metal and stuff, and it's like no one's talking about those games anymore because now you figure the week before this outage happened, it was that I put up all those stories about how these exclusive games and yada yada yada, and how cool they were, and this was happening, yada yada, except Ratchet and Clank all for one. And now all anyone talks about, and even on our end, how many views we're seeing our pages get. Like these stories about the PSN are just dwarfing it because everybody's panicking and wants to know.
I think what's going to be interesting is when we find out, not necessarily at the end of this month, but at the end of May, what console sales have been for PlayStation, because I envision that PlayStation is going to get trounced in terms of new console sales. Just from this story for the foreseeable future, because you go into, you have to assume you go, and rightfully so, you go into a Target or a Walmart, you go into your GameStop, and the employee is like,
I just read about this last
Yeah,
night
it's-
online, and this is happening.
Yeah,
It's
like-
not, the PSN isn't working right now. And
like if someone, like for instance, this last week or week and a half, like it would kind of be negligent to be a clerk at one of these stores and be like, oh, you want to buy a PlayStation? Okay, like it doesn't work and stuff. So I mean, like that's really going to damage their sales, and it does suck because I guess there is a silver lining though. The good news is that the 3 games that I'm most excited about, and I think that we would all agree are probably the marquee games this year,
Yeah.
which I would say were Infamous, Resistance, and Uncharted, haven't come out yet.
Yeah,
So there's things to look forward to, and I think the resurgence will begin June 7th with Infamous, and then go on from there.
It's going to be the exact same story that we've seen with poor Sony all these times before. What's going to happen is this terrible shit goes down. Everybody is really upset about it. And then give it time. Other good things will happen, and people will people will forget about it, or at least not let it impact their decisions.
yeah, but the Xbots will continue to use this.
Yeah, but
this will be the new firmware
Dude,
cry for Ryan Geddes. Anytime I say something positive about the PlayStation, he will be like, "Oh, is the PSN working now?"
Yeah, but
I cannot grow hair.
they still
That's not nice.
He can't grow hair. He just cuts it short.
they still they still talk about massive damage and giant enemy crabs.
Yeah.
I mean, and we still talk about the Xbox breaking and hoodie jackets and
real. I don't even want to go there.
stuff. Real human love. But it's everybody makes fun of shit, and that stuff doesn't go away.
But what did they say? It was like creatures from Japanese history.
Oh yeah,
It's-
we
historical
modeled after
Japanese
real
battles.
battles that happened in Japan. Now here's this giant enemy crab. You
so
can attack
good.
its weak point for massive
and
damage.
people still talk about the 599 announcement too, which
Ridge
is
Racer.
Yep.
It's Ridge Racer.
Jamal writes in. I hope it's Malcolm Jamal Warner, and he's just shortening his name. He says, beyond quick question, how can Sony, in your opinion, make up this debacle to us?
well, I it's tough. I mean, because I wrote pretty extensively about this in my own pieces about what kind of restitution will be expected from Sony.
Yeah.
I think that PlayStation Network users. This is what I think. I'm going to finally say what I think should happen because I've kind of avoided that, but I've kind of.
Now do it. Lay the Moriarty brain, as they say.
I think every PlayStation Network user should get access to a new game, and a game that is good and new. So they should work out something even with Ubi and Housemarque to say like everyone can download Outland or something like that, and then they'll just pay them and they have to pay them out of pocket. But they're going to lose a lot of money on all this stuff anyway, so that's the way it is. To make it up for them.
But I mean, at what point as Sony do you have to worry about the fact that there's going to be a class action suit and you're going to lose money?
Don't say it out loud.
I don't understand that reference. You have to explain it to me.
All right, I will. I can't say it out loud, but it's
why can't you say it out loud?
Because
it's dealing with one of our competitors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what everyone should get. Just a game. And then, because I think when Xbox Live went out, Microsoft did that for people. They gave them a game.
Yeah.
And then, so then you have to go into the tiers of what you have invested in PlayStation Network. PlayStation Plus members should get free 3 months of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
If you are subscribed like I am to NHL Game Center or MLB TV, you should probably get some of your money back. If you're not a PlayStation Plus subscriber and you downloaded NHL Game Center, you paid $10 for it, you should get that money back. For MLB TV, you lost out on 2 weeks of the season. At the beginning of the season, when everyone's really excited about baseball, there should be some sort of financial restitution for that as well.
What about DC Universe Online?
So DC Universe and Free Realms, I think you guys should just get a free month or whatever of subscription
and
for all of
Sony
those
pays
things.
Sony Online that, and I know that sounds confusing, but they're different companies.
Yeah, they are. So I mean, they have to work all that out. So they're all under the same umbrella. I imagine what's going to end up happening is Sony's going to have to say, like, for instance, if they were going to make Outland available for everyone, to say like, to go to Housemarque and Ubi and be like, we'll pay you for we'll make it available for a week. However many people download it, we'll pay you for like your half of the money or whatever you would get, and we wouldn't obviously take our profit. And then for the same thing for SOE with DC Universe and Free Realms, it's got to be like, we'll see how many people we'll give everyone a URL to go to. They can put their PSN address and their email and everything.
And they get hacked again.
Yeah, but then it's like however many people take advantage of that, we'll pay you for it. I think that's what's fair and. That's important. Remember, consumers, you have a right as a consumer to expect services, and you have been, not to mention the inconvenience of it all, which I think is what the free game should be, because it is a major inconvenience. I can't, do what I want to do with my PlayStation. It's just sitting there, it's collecting dust. I don't want to say literally collecting dust, because it's not sitting there like trying to net dust out of the air and collecting it. But there's a sheet of dust over my PlayStation right now.
It also is a shame about the things that we can't quite make up for, like SOCOM comes out, which even though it didn't get like gigantically huge,
it's still a huge fan base, right?
It's a huge fan base, and it's still I believe Jack still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. He gave it 7, which means it's good.
He thought it was a good game, and the thing is that game is all about online.
Mm-hmm.
The day after it comes out, no online.
Switch throne.
I mean, imagine
we're
like
skipping
how,
over Portal as well.
Yeah,
Portal comes
yeah.
out finally.
And that's the game that impacts me because I purposefully went out of my way to get the PS3 version so I could get that free Steam code, which I also can't access because they're linked. So it's just really. I mean, what about those people? That's total. There's really not a lot you can do there to make up for them.
Yeah, it's just. That's the thing. It's like.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like I wonder also how is this going to affect Sony's relationship with Valve because
or anybody for that matter.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm definitely. But I'm most interested in how it's gonna affect Valve games moving forward. Because I was kind of hoping that Valve was testing the waters and finally coming over to Sony, and maybe we would get Left 4 Dead 2, and maybe we would get like and with Half-Life 3 or Episode 3 or whatever coming out, maybe we'd actually get a proper version of the game on like the Orange Box and the things of this nature. And now you have to wonder, like those guys are heavy hitters. They're a big deal, and if they're not going to support Sony after this, which is entirely possible,
right?
Then who knows what's going to happen? No one can play co-op on Portal right now.
It seemed like the downloadable sphere was starting to even out, right? Because for so long it'd be like the Castle Crasher situation where Xbox would get something and then a year and a half later we'd get it or whatever, right? And it seemed like that was starting to catch up. But now you're going to be in the situation of where it doesn't matter that, yes, the PSN is going to be turned back on. Now Microsoft can go to any little developer they want and say, hey, we'd love to put your games coming to Xbox Live. We'd love for it to be exclusive forever or for this amount. We're willing to give you this kind of bonus. Or I don't know how those contracts get worked out. But the argument they make, right, is that I know you're aware that the PSN went down, and I know you're now aware that those kids don't want to put credit cards back in there, and there's a ton of people who are not going to go out and buy PSN cards anymore. So even if you put it out there, the money you're going to make on the PSN, we don't think is going to be bigger than the bonus we're giving you right now to be exclusive.
Yeah, I think it's super damaging, like in that respect. The good news is that it's 2011, so the PlayStation 3 came out in 2006, and it's kind of nearing the end of its life cycle, so I think things are going to be tapering off eventually anyway with PlayStation 3 soon, probably within the next year to 18 months, and we'll probably see the new PlayStation next year. So it's kind of, if this was going to happen, this is probably the best time for it to happen because everyone.
But isn't it still just a knock against the PlayStation/Sony brand, like that name? Like, are people going to be that forgetful that are like, oh well, no big deal. That was PlayStation 3 screwed that up.
I think that'll
be their E3. We're here to announce PlayStation 4. And number one, security encrypted. And the hacking thingamajig in the back that was all one set of numbers, random now.
Yeah, actually random.
Buy $700.
That's what, like I think that the consumer, the general consumer, has a short memory and can be fickle. So I think that it's possible that Sony can get them back with the PlayStation 4. What concerns me most right now is the NGP because the NGP is entirely contingent on the PlayStation Network, and they're going to need to. All this talk about the PlayStation Network, we're going to hear a lot about that with the NGP, and people are going to be like, well, the PlayStation Network sucks because it totally just got hacked and was down, and everyone's information was leaked. So it does suck, especially because I think we're getting really great games, especially great exclusive games, and I think we have some of the best games on PlayStation Network. And I hope people still give it a chance, but I understand why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Adam writes into beyond@ign.com and says, just a quick question for Colin. You tweeted at notaxation.com. That's where you can follow Colin's tweets. You tweeted
not
that
.com, I don't think.
That's correct. You're right. That's not how internet works. Today I was trying to get on the Sony Press Center, and I was like talking to Sony. I'm like, hey, is the Press Center down too? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, I had no .com in there. I'm like, well, I don't know how web addresses work. Just a quick question for Colin. You tweeted at notaxation that people shouldn't give Sony a pass and should be stronger consumers. I'm hoping you could elaborate on that. I know you advocate voting with your dollars, so should people not buy Infamous 2 to send a message? And I know that drags Sucker Punch into it unfairly. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, no, I don't think that that's the case. I think in this particular case, you have to let Sony is responsible for what happened. None of the developers are responsible for what happened. Guerrilla's not responsible. Sucker Punch isn't responsible. In fact, these guys have been victimized by what happened to Sony. But you have to, speak loudly. Sony already has your money, but make sure if they're going to keep getting your money, that they respond in a way that's more responsible if something like this happens in the future or something anywhere remotely like this happens. I used in the last podcast, I used the example of Xbox. If people spoke louder with their money with the original Xbox 360, it would have been fixed much quicker, but it wasn't. And people need to be cognizant of those kinds of things. We without our money, these companies do not exist. And so just remember that. Just remember that, you don't. It's not like you have a God-given right to purchase a Sony console. Like, you have to look at the market and see what you want. And if you want one console or all the consoles or whatever, but just don't give them your money. Don't give them a free pass. That stuff is not right. It's totally lame to give them a free pass on this, I think. And I that's what I mean by being a strong consumer. Voice your concerns. Let them know that you're pissed.
Yeah.
And make sure that it doesn't happen in the future.
Asked about us. I said comment on IGN articles. Like they do get looked at, but not by us, but by PR people. Comment on the PlayStation blog. Send them feedback. They have email addresses where you can send feedback. Tweet about it. Blog about it. Do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Whatever your interaction is with the internet. If you want to say that you're not happy, and don't do the whole "Dear Sony, fuck you." I mean, do it. I'm upset with how you handled this situation. Here's why. You know what I mean? Like, be an educated consumer to let them know that they've disappointed you.
Yeah, and they, if they didn't disappoint you in this, I don't know what to say. I mean, I have no idea what to say about that if you're not disappointed in the way this situation was handled.
Okay. Enzo DeGregorio, fan of the show, friend of the show, writes into beyond@ign.com, says he has some quick-fire questions for each of us about this PlayStation Network business.
Okay.
We're ready.
Greg, do you think the possible financial cost to Sony as a whole could lead to them dropping the PlayStation brand? I say no. They're not going to get rid of the PlayStation brand for this. Yeah. It's bad. It's definitely a black market. It's going to take them a while to dig out, and it's going to definitely affect the year, I think. But I don't think you drop the brand. You don't make your next system the Playfish or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Playfish. Although I do want to play the Playfish.
Okay. Colin, you canceled your card associated with the PSN account and got a new one. I did the same thing. Do you think this is the best course of action for everyone just to be safe?
No, I don't think it's the best course for everyone. I think, like I said on the last podcast, you have to remember that canceling a credit card will actually or could actually hurt your credit.
Yeah.
Right. So we didn't do that.
No, I got a new debit card number. When Clements called Amex, he got a new number associated with the card that he already has.
Yeah.
That account stayed the same, but he got a new card.
Yes.
Exactly. So I don't think you have to necessarily take drastic action like that. I'm not messing around with my money, so I did that, and it's good to have a clean slate anyway in case that stuff's anywhere else, and it's just you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
But at the very least, like Greg said, and like Greg wrote a very comprehensive piece on it, just keep an eye on your stuff, see what happens.
That's the path I'm taking. I'm not canceling stuff. I'm going to monitor it and see, because not only it sounds weird, right? But I'm not worried about it in the way that, don't get me wrong, if I ever, I'm going out to eat and I use my debit card and it comes up that I have no money because some idiot charged a plane ticket or whatever, that sucks. However, it makes a good story for IGN, and it makes a good point of reference for people. Hey, this is actually happening, because right now you can't confirm or deny if the credit card information is even out there, right? And this would be a way to say that I don't know if it is out there because of Sony, but it's out there, and I got something happened to me, but I caught it because I'm being vigilant because of I don't know.
No,
A cautionary tale, as they say.
Yeah.
It's better. My stance on it: better to be safe than sorry.
Ryan.
Yes.
If you were in Sony's shoes right now, how would you put a positive spin on this in the Wave PR?
Oh my God. I totally got the hardest question, Enzo. It's totally not.
He doesn't
right.
like you, I guess.
I guess
Heads
not.
up.
No.
Podcast unlock that, bitch.
Him and I get along just fine on the Twitter Spaces.
He's a good man.
And the emails. What would I do? I don't know if there's a way to put a good spin on this, but my personal policy is being as transparent as possible. Oh, do I have something on my face?
No, it's me. I forgot that I had a mic. I just ran a paper into my mic.
To be as transparent as possible, not with your information, but with your policies and with your handling of a situation, and being apologetic, at trying to be as compensating as possible, like Colin was saying, to give the people what they deserve for their inconveniences, and not just to say like, oh, sorry, we apologize for the inconvenience is not enough.
No,
you need to take action. And I would say take action, and then it would be great. I wouldn't want them to, show their hand, but it would be great if Sony is like, we have our network back up and running. Here are the various steps we have taken to ensure that this will never happen again, and then document like the sort of courses of action they took without obviously compromising any of their own information. Something like that, right? Doesn't that make sense? No, I'm not getting any nods.
No, I think you're absolutely right. In terms of if Sony put the PlayStation Network back up and it was like, the PlayStation Network's back up, sorry for your inconvenience, they clearly have no idea what they're doing over there in terms of PR. No clue. And frankly, in terms of the way this was handled, I'm kind of questioning whether they have any idea what they're doing in terms of PR in general. You hire an external firm, you clearly know something's wrong, and you don't admit it. If people want to keep drinking the Kool-Aid like they had no idea what was going on literally until the 6th day, then keep drinking it. But that's
some of your points.
Keep drinking it.
Keep drinking it. What are we at here on the count, Mark? We're at an hour, a little over?
Yeah, we're about an hour in.
All right.
About 56 minutes.
56 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start winding down. All right, cool. Scuba Owl writes in. Says, my question is about MotorStorm Apocalypse. Is the gameplay actually worse or more frustrating than previous MotorStorms? Like the IGN review score for Apocalypse is slightly lower than Pacific Rift, for example, or does it simply suffer from the same issues the series always had?
Wow, we're having a real question?
Keep on. Yeah, I can keep going with PSN stuff.
No, this is great. I like this. This is refreshing.
Start winding stuff down. Have you played the Apocalypse?
No.
Have you played the Apocalypse?
Yeah, I did at the event, but
okay.
Not extensively.
I've played a bunch of single player. And then, it got delayed, so I gave my build to Hillary, and now I'm going to play more, hopefully, this weekend. However, I think it's more frustrating isn't the word I'd use. There's more chances, I think, to get completely fucked up. Because the buildings are falling down, and there's all these obstructions. And for me, what it would seem like is I'd be racing fine, and then, there'd be a pillar of a building or something I'd smash into that normally, when I was racing through dirt tracks or whatever, it was a much more guided experience of here's where you're going, and here I'm on top of buildings, and all of a sudden I'd go off a ramp, and I'd be, falling to my death because that actually didn't go anywhere, stuff like that. So I think that is what Martin was talking about in terms of his review being more frustrating, or how we touched on it. But it does feel a lot like other MotorStorms, just a little bit less.
Would you recommend it for a racing fan? Would you recommend it for a MotorStorm fan?
I don't think I've gone that far into it yet. I mean, I would say recommend it for a MotorStorm fan, sure. I mean, it's that same boosting craziness, and I'm what sucks the most is that I think the coolest thing about it from our event is online multiplayer. And so I got the game, and I'm like, yay! And then, of course, they're like, oh, wait, we were delaying it, so none of these sessions are working. I'm like, oh. And then I have a retail disc now that I haven't told you about for the library. Too bad.
What, for MotorStorm?
Yeah, I got a retail disc. I'm like, yay! And then the PSN is crippled. It's like, oh. So one day.
But the Froyo comes with your choice of topping. Hooray! But the topping is also cursed.
All right. Do we want one final PSN question? Do we want a question that I can only answer? Or do we want a quick hit, 3 quick hits for each?
I'm happy with whatever.
Yeah,
I'm putting it up to you to freaking vote.
It would be fun to do all 3 of us again.
Okay. All right, then we're going to start in reverse order. This one comes from Albert. He wrote into beyond@ign.com.
Hello, Albert.
He says, last but not least, Ryan. Like I said, I flipped it.
Oh, man.
Who is your favorite Sid? C-I-D. I don't know what this means. Mine is Sid Highwind, but Headmaster Sid comes a close second because he looks like Robin Williams. Ryan, from what I tell, you have a big heart, and that is a truly special thing on the internet.
Oh, look at that.
Albert.
Thanks,
You're my
Albert.
favorite Sid, Albert. What the hell is a Sid?
Just to explain very quickly, the Final Fantasy series has always had like kind of a theme of having a character named Sid in most all their games.
Okay. Who is the Sid in the game where I was like underwater soccering? Remember that game?
Yes, I remember. And
I had a yellow coat.
I don't know if I remember.
My dad was bad, I think.
Yes, you were Titus, and your dad was Jecht, and you were playing Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2.
Okay.
And I forgot who the Sid was. So
Whatever,
Albert, I got to be honest, man. The Sid I remember the most is Highwind from 7, and I also remember the Sid from 4 because he had a righteous beard.
Yeah.
Right.
He was an engineer. It was cool.
But I actually really like. I will just say that there is a similar character in Dissidia that's awesome in terms of story. But I guess the most memorable is probably bearded Sid from 4 or Highwind, as you said.
Sid from 4 is awesome because he fights with a wrench.
Yeah, that's right. And I totally remember him like diving off of an airship at one point, like trying to save the day. Didn't he do something like that?
Yeah, like there's a few really funny moments. Also in the after years, there's some funny moments. He's older and he still has the huge beard.
Righteous beard. Yeah.
But I remember you'd like select him and he'd fight and then he'd bing bing with his with his wrench.
You and I were always talking about how we loved the Moogles when they have like 2 giant javelins and they just come out when you're dual wielding.
Yeah, they're like these cute animals and they're all in your party. Like when you control all of them and then they just like walk up and it's like ding ding to like 9,000 damage. It's like mad funny.
Colin.
Yeah.
You get 2 questions.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a history degree, says Albert.
Oh, okay. Me too.
Who is your favorite revolutionary figure? Mine is Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, that's a good choice. Hamilton's from New York, so he calls New York his home state. That's a good choice. I guess, I don't know. Overall, I mean, I guess Thomas Jefferson would probably be my favorite.
Or
I really
Einstein.
Like, or Einstein, right. I like James Madison too, but I mean, I don't really consider James Madison part of the revolution as much as I consider him part of the Constitutional Convention and things.
Of course,
yeah.
So.
Yes.
Also, what is your opinion of the Mega Man X series? Because I think my favorite Mega Man game is the first X game. Your grounded approach to gaming and your historical background is a great combination.
Oh, thank you.
love how he's giving these little compliments.
I like Mega Man X, X2, and X3 on SNES. They're very, very good games. The other ones are not good games.
Okay. Greg, do you watch Smallville? It's gotten better, I promise. Either way, I love your rants, and as a Spider-Man fan, I apologize for the Clone Saga ruining your opinion of Marvel. Albert, I do watch Smallville. I took a few years off because it got so effing bad. Like, it was just awful. Terrible show. But when they were finally like, it's the last season, I was like, I will watch start to finish. And I've been enjoying my time. And I plan to cry on May 13th when I say goodbye to all of them. Because they've been doing a good job building it up, even though I'm still not happy that they're just introducing glasses now and they think that's going to cover everything up. Because it isn't. People are going to remember Clark Kent looking... Hey, look, Superman looks just like Clark Kent. Remember that? Oh, he wears glasses now? Can't be the same dude. I mean, I've only known him for 9 years without glasses. 9.5 years without glasses. But now he has glasses, so clearly. All right. They should have started this a while ago.
I do remember back in the fucking day when that show first came out.
Yeah, remember? I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, it came. The first season was my freshman year of college.
And I was in high school still.
Yeah.
And I remember like my friends and I talking about it, and we were like, "Hey, that show's pretty cool. It's like Superman, but he's like a kid. Oh, and that girl is so hot.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I'm trying to do the Clayman thing. I can't do it as well as he could.
Clayman could do that pretty well.
He could do that tongue thing.
Yeah, he could do the tongue thing like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Good old Dave Clayman. All right, here's the PSN question.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you were most worried about, writes in Hennessy 2036 with the whole PSN hack thing. He says, your credit card / personal info potentially being stolen, not knowing when the PSN will be back, not knowing how the PSN will be back considering they are quote-unquote rebuilding it, the backlash you will have in the year of the PlayStation, losing your trophies, if that's even a possibility, or other.
I would say just the personal information.
Okay.
If now that I know my personal information is out there, my credit card's fine, which is cool. If I lost my trophies, if somehow trophies were erased or whatever, I'd lose it.
Yeah. I would be
I'd
upset too.
lose it if that happened.
Overall, I'm probably more concerned. I'm not really worried about anything, but like the concern for me is the personal information and possible credit card stuff.
Can I also say that I guess my greatest concern actually is for the developers, to be perfectly honest.
I'm going to file that under the others, so yes, you can say that.
Yes.
Because they're the ones suffering right now. Like I said on the podcast we did a couple days ago, some of these small developers release something, have all their money riding on it, and they are shit out of luck. So that really sucks.
It's going to be. I'm still worried about the backlash too for Sony in general, PlayStation in general, as far as what that means for people bringing the games to there, what it means for people buying games from there.
Yep,
Disturbing stuff. Right?
They have a lot of damage control to do.
It is.
The final real question from the 3 I pitched earlier. We have one final roundup question.
I'm ready.
This one's for me only though.
No
Greg,
problem.
if they were to make a We're Alive game, We're Alive, of course, the zombie podcast we've promoted a lot on the show. Who would you want to make it, and what kind of game would you like it to be? This is from Will Hagewood, by the way. His PSN name, if you ever want to send it to, is Killer Beard Hawk. If the PSN ever comes back,
Killer Beard Hawk?
All one word, Killer Beard Hawk.
That's awesome.
I would love for a We're Alive game, but I would want it to be like I always talk about a zombie MMO. I think that'd be awesome. Team up with people. You have to take over buildings, try to survive there, go out for resources, come back, keep it. I think that'd be rad.
Yeah, that sounds
so that's
cool.
what I want, and I don't really know who would be great at making that. So whoever developer out there thinks that's a great idea, listen to We're Alive, the zombie podcast, and then go talk to them and make that game.
I did not. Well, all right. I don't want to talk. No, we're already running behind. I just have a cool idea that I want to pitch at some point on our show. Let's tease it for next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to insert the opening of the package here?
Let's do that now.
No, we didn't forget.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to write it down, or you got it?
Yeah. I'll do that right now. One
right.
second. But
Are we just going to talk over it right now?
Just introduce it.
All right.
So
Hey, what's
they
up,
know.
everybody? It's Greg Miller from Podcast Beyond. This is not.
I think you did that already in the.
So a few weeks ago, a mysterious package showed up at IGN. And it was to me, it said open on Podcast Beyond, but the problem was I was going out of town because I was going to go do the Sony stuff. I think Colin was going out of town too, so we weren't sure who went. So we all went in on the room on Monday this is before I went to LA, if everybody remembers this, and opened this package and recorded the segment, and then promptly forgot about recording this. And so the kid just tweeted me one day like, "Hey, did you ever get that package?" Damn it!
Poor
Oh
kid.
my God, I'm sorry.
We will now do that.
So now we're gonna insert it.
Yes. Here we go.
We have a very special package. It's a speckle?
Speckle.
Very
It's a
speckle
special
package.
It is a speckle package.
that came here on Monday when I was still in the office, when everybody was still in the office, when everything was happening. Colin, read it to me.
It says priority mail, United States Postal
It's
Service.
one of the big priority mailboxes.
It says wait to open on Beyond.
That's now.
And it says 625, which I imagine
That's
is
what
the-
our receptionist
yeah.
wrote on it.
Okay.
It's from who?
Mail services, etc. Mailed for Liam Howard.
From Long Beach, California.
Should I say his entire address so people
no,
can go over
I
there?
don't think that's. Well, I think that's probably just the mail services accepted.
Oh, okay.
So I hope.
That's fair.
All right, we're gonna open it. Come
Let's
on,
do
tear
it.
it open.
Oh, okay. Do you just want me to do this side?
I think once we get it open, it's gonna be open.
All right. I have torn it asunder.
What if it's some kind of rabbit? Uh-oh. It's a
What do
toy.
we got in here? What is this?
Oh, wait, he sent it. Hold on, I better read the letter. There's a letter, I bet, for this first. Okay, hold on. Hold on, here's what we got. Beyond.
Beyond.
Hey, Greg, Colin, and Ryan. I got some gifts for my favorite IGN editors. A Superman toy for Greg, an iTunes gift card for Clements to download K-pop, and a book called Battle Royale, which is a great alternative history story for Colin. Hope you guys enjoy. Keep up the good work. Much love from your biggest fan, Liam Howard. I enjoy that Liam wrote his entire name except his last name. It's all printed out in like Comic Sans, and then he wrote Howard in there. That's what I got.
Oh, by hand. Very nice.
I have an adorable Superman versus Bizarro Action League DC Universe figure. Recommended for ages 3 and up.
Oh, my God. That is amazing.
Colin, Battle
Jesus
Royale.
Christ.
Woo.
Wow,
Clements.
it is a novel.
Envelope unmarked. I'm assuming your gift card is in there.
Oh, my goodness. I
Liam
almost feel
Howard.
bad. I don't even want to accept
You're a
it.
super fan. Thank you so much for doing this.
Wait a minute, isn't this Battle Royale? Isn't this a movie? I've seen this, I think.
There is a battle. Yes, it was made into a. Oh, actually, I guess I would assume the book came first.
Wow,
but
look
it
how
was
thick this book is. I
It
didn't
was a
think you-
Japanese movie.
I had no
Big
idea.
old book.
All right, well,
Where,
first of all, Liam, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you,
is really
Liam
nice.
Howard. You are awesome.
No more gifts, please, guys. We should be sending you cool stuff.
Yes.
Agreed. And we try.
You guys do not have to send us gifts, but
This
this
is
is
pretty
very
cool.
much appreciated.
I'm going to read the back of my Superman vs. Bizarro.
Do it.
Bizarro was created as a doppelganger to Superman, but when something went very wrong, but something went very wrong, now he's a super strong backwards clone. Awesome. There it was. Thank you so much for my Superman figures. I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, very nice of you. Please don't send us any more gifts, though. We don't deserve gifts. We appreciate it. Save
Immensely.
your money.
Yes.
Speaking of gifts, I want to give a big shout out here to all the people who gave me birthday shout outs yesterday. It was my birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
buddy.
I turned 21.
I'm very happy.
And a whole bunch of people came out on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the podcast beyond email. So many that I could not possibly thank you all personally. I tried my best for a while, but I just couldn't keep up and have a job.
Yeah.
So I raised my coffee cup to you.
Yes.
Thank you for your help.
And also,
You're giving away some stuff too, aren't you?
Yeah, so this will be fast. I want to remind a particular Podcast Beyond listener who won the signed Dissidia figure that Colin and I had a contest about, and I believe that your last name is Forrest, but I think your first name started with a J.
Jonathan Forrest, maybe?
Or Jason.
Jason.
Jason?
But honestly, we still haven't heard from you about getting your address or somewhere that we can send this. So please, Mr. Forrest, email us, or else this beautiful giveaway item is going to someone else. No,
Melt it down.
Thrown into the IGN incinerator. So there's that. I have two other items that I want to give away, but I want to leave it up to you gentlemen as to how we're going to give them away. All right?
Rock it.
I have a Blu-ray edition of the original Mortal Kombat. This Mortal Kombat includes the limited Jade DLC costume, like download code for Mortal Kombat.
So as soon as the PSN gets turned back on.
So as soon as that gets turned on, you get a hot new outfit for Jade. Yeah, that was gross. But Mortal Kombat, it's Blu-ray. It's good stuff. So we have that. I also have a pretty swanky Artanelico Quoga, the Knell of RCL. That's the name of the game.
Colin's shaking his head in disgust.
Calendar.
Does not like that name at all.
It is a calendar. If you would like to hang it up and see all the lovely ladies of the Artanelico PS3 version, we have a calendar that's still wrapped up. It's all nice and nice, ready to be shipped to you. But I don't know how you guys want to give those two things away.
I don't know.
What should we do? Should we do any sort of contest, or should we just have people write in with stuff they want?
I think the kids have been through enough this week with the PlayStation Network shit in the bed. So yeah,
just email us.
Yeah, write in. Ryan Clements will pick a winner at random. Do us a favor though, write in with your address already, and if you are outside of the U.S., sorry.
Yes, this is only
We're not doing
for
this again.
Continental U.S.
This is for United States, continental U.S. citizens that are 18 or over that listen to Podcast Beyond. Please only ask for one of these things. I'm not going to give you both.
Oh, also, to save us, too, because we do get a lot of Beyond email, we don't want to delete everything because if people have questions. If you're listening to this podcast after Thursday, the Thursday goes up, it's over. Clements will pick a winner from the emails we get on Thursday. Please do not email us. Because, dude, we get like a million emails.
I'm still getting people asking for
we
got to be more clear about that.
How about this? Like, can we say that I will look through emails that come starting from today through Sunday evening, and that way for people that listen
today,
on
the 28th
weekend
through Sunday, whatever April day that would be.
So
I'm bad at math.
That's okay, right?
That's fine.
And then if you do not bother sending in an email if it is after that period of time, because I will be selecting winners from that. So you have a couple days to get in your email. Put in the subject head.
Stuff.
What? Stuff for life.
Stuff for life.
Stuff for life, and then pick either the MK movie or the Artanelico calendar.
Okay.
And I will pick and include your address.
And it's not to say that we don't like hearing from you after Sunday. It's just to say that I don't want to. We have real questions that we want to get for the next podcast, and I just, if I see all these emails, I just Control-A, delete, and then the internet explodes.
Yeah.
So
another quick one too. A lot of people, want to visit IGN and they want to hang out with us and they want to do meet and greets and stuff, and we try to accommodate everybody who does that. However, the early bird gets the worm on this one. A lot of people. I look at the Podcast Beyond mailbag once a week. Thursday morning before I do the shows, when I go through with my cup of coffee and choose the emails we're going to read or hopefully read. So if you send something on Thursday morning or you send something on Friday saying, I'm in town for the weekend, I don't see it until a week later when you're already out of town.
Yeah.
So plan ahead, get us dates, and we can try to work stuff out. Also, IGN is starting a new program called First Fridays, where there are guided tours around the entire office. You can email us for information about that, but the general consensus on that one is it's the first Friday of every month. So if you can plan a trip around that makes it easy.
Yeah, and then try and give us as much an early warning as possible.
Yes.
And I mean, we're only human. We are busy. Sometimes we won't be able to meet with you, which I hate to say because I have only had awesome experiences meeting all the IGN and Beyond fans.
Yeah.
So please try. We will always try and go out and grab a drink with you, or if you're underage, maybe try and go out to get a bite to eat or something.
Right.
Go out on a nice little date.
There you go.
But yeah, we'll try.
Okay.
See what we can do.
A final Beyond email comes from Patty, the receptionist at IGN. She says, if anyone's interested, the tamale guy is here on the 4th floor selling tamales.
Oh, look at that.
So that brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Remember, if you want to be a part of the show, email us at beyond@ign.com. If you want up-to-the-minute updates and you don't want to be on IGN all the time, which you should be doing, ign.com if you haven't heard of it. You can follow us all on Twitter. IGN is IGN. Ryan Clements is Pwam Cider. PWAM Cider.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Game Over Greggy. GGY. Colin is No Taxation. Go to iTunes, rate us, download the show every week. Continue to live, ladies and gentlemen. I know these are dark times.
These are dark
and
times.
the PSN has failed us. But it will come back. And it will be stronger and more secure and encrypted than ever. Ryan, take me home.
All right, buddy. Today we have a cool little song from Gary. Gary wrote me and says, Beyond, I finally got around to playing and finishing Heavy Rain, and I absolutely loved the game and was moved to write a song from Ethan's point of view. The song is called Madison Page. I wrote and recorded this as my one-man band, Dissenter. I would be over the moon if you played it. Guess what? You're going to be over the fucking moon today, man. It's also about time to put a hard rockin' tune on the podcast. I like this song just because I love the idea of one-man bands. I'm assuming that means he's played all the instruments and just recorded himself.
Is he like one of those guys that walks around with like the trumpet? He has like the drum on his back, and he's like using his leg to hit the cymbal. And
yes.
All, yeah.
I'm assuming
That'd
so.
be awesome.
I've been listening from the beginning and will be until the end. There will be no end. Can't wait to hear episode 200 and see you at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah!
This is from Gary, one-man band, Dissenter. This song is called Madison Page. If you want to also be like Gary and have a song submitted to Podcast Beyond, email us at that beyond@ign.com that Greg keeps talking about.
That's what we call it.
Greg, let's rock out to Madison Page.
Beyond.
Rockin' on tonight. It's time to say goodbye.